Hello, beautiful people. Happy Sunday. Yeah, there's an hour left and then Sunday is ending. Yeah, happy Sunday. We're gonna be cross-nighting in a sense for the next quadrillion hours. Yeah, so I'm just gonna wait for a few minutes to see if there are actually people, because it's 11 p.m. It's very, very late. I don't know if there are any people awake on a Sunday. I mean, tomorrow is a the holiday is today. Tomorrow is I forgot what they call it, but it's a holiday for today. So there's no school tomorrow. So I'm assuming people are supposed to be awake, scrolling on TikTok somewhere. So right now they're probably getting the notification your Ofentse is live and stuff. So yeah, we're just gonna wait for a few minutes and then we'll see what time we'll start. I also just wanna confirm if this thing is actually working properly. So I think we're gonna start at around 1:30 is very far. I think like it depends on how many things I have to say before we study, but then I'm not worried about that because we're gonna be studying sort of the entire night, or like at around 3 it's 3 too far. I think 3 a.m. I think that's the goal, because that will be like approximately 3 to 4 hours ish, or in between 3 and 4 hours. So my test is on Wednesday. Tomorrow there's no school, so that's what I'll be doing the entire day. So I'm also gonna be live in the afternoon for like a very, very long time. I think more than 5 hours I'll be here on YouTube. So just trying to like keep going and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll be here the entire afternoon most likely, if something doesn't happen. Let me see. Tomorrow is the 28th. Yeah, I don't have anything, so I'm gonna be here the entire day. So at around 10 a.m. my life should be started, but I have to eat. I don't want to say after 12 because that's very far. So early in the morning, basically, that's all I'm saying. Very, very early in the morning, we're gonna come back. So right now it's gonna be until 3. We get our 5 to 6 hours of sleep, and then when we wake up, it's 1 hour refreshment, and then come back to study. Because Wednesday is around the corner. I just need to make sure that everything is looking proper, and stuff like that. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. It's working, eh? It should be sound. Okay, perfect. Okay, yeah, 5 to 10 minutes depending on how much yapping bundles I have left. Yeah, well, and then we'll see how far we can take it. I don't know if there are any people. Okay, I'm seeing people are joining now. I thought people were sleeping. So yeah, that was my initial thought. So I see that people are actually joining, but yeah, we'll see how it goes for the next 3 hours or something like that. And then tomorrow it's gonna be more than 5 hours, most likely, like during the day. So I think, actually, let's say after 12. So from I don't like studying in the afternoon, I'm lying. So from 9 a.m. I think to like 12 p.m. and then there's like a very long break I need to breathe outside of, and go touch some grass, and then I'll come back like a bit later, probably around 3 or something like that, 3 p.m. But definitely the entire day tomorrow I'm gonna be here, because a man's gotta lock in, very much lock in, like lock. Yeah, well, so yeah, that's pretty much what's gonna be going on. I'm not sure if people are receiving the notifications to these lives though. Yeah, it actually depends if your notification, you know how the YouTubers are like, click the notification bell so that you're notified every time I upload something. I think that's what they're talking about. Now my notification thingy is off, so that's probably why most people are not notified when I go live and stuff. So yeah, but that's fine. They'll catch up as long as everyone is studying. Then that's a good thing. I wanted to talk about, let me see what I wanted to talk about. I had like I have like a list of topics that I have to work on. Like I was planning on uploading a bunch of videos, like creating some form of I was gonna call it what? Posting every day until I forget to. So I'm gonna do something like that. I don't know if it's gonna be from tomorrow, but then one of these days I'm gonna start it, and that would mean every single day there's gonna be a new video uploaded, like an actual video, but they're gonna be very short, like 3 to 5 minutes. So I'm gonna do that very soon. So obviously I was just writing down what you call these things. I was writing down topics and stuff like that. Yeah, it will depend. If I actually have things to talk about, then I'm gonna talk. Topics are not topicsing, then obviously trouble about that. Let me see. Ooh, yes, one of them, I'm just gonna talk about it here and not do a video about it, right? So yeah, it is. So one of them was essentially on the title was of the video was gonna be, or if I actually put it well enough here, I'm also gonna make a video about it. So the title of the video was gonna be why I list my wins, big or small, every single night. So every single night, I'm gonna refine that title. I didn't put it properly, but then it's essentially saying every single night before I sleep, I list down what I've accomplished. Not gratitude, it's something different from gratitude. So there's the gratitude, what you're grateful for, and then there is you listing down what you have accomplished today, right? Your smallest wins, your biggest wins for the day, you write them down. You should at least have 2 things. Otherwise, you should consider your entire 24 hours as a waste, right? So you should have at least 2 hours in the day. So if I'm to give an example of today, if I'm to talk about things I've done, right? Number 1, I cut my hair. I have a fresh cut right now. Yeah, well, that's a win, because it's something that was on my list and I actually accomplished it. It was something that was on my mind. I'm like, I need to do this, and then I fixed my hair. Yeah, well, so it's like it was one win from today. The other win, what's the other win? Something happened. Win. I actually don't. Okay, I called my little sister. That's a second win. It was something that was on my mind, and then I called, and then we talked, right? So that's also another win. I'm gonna write those things down by the end of the day. And then there's also the gratitude side of things. So what are you grateful for? This one, you should also have 2 things. So you should have 2 wins for the day and 2 gratitudinal 2 gratitudes. You should be grateful for something, right? So what are you grateful for? This one is more broad. The gratitude one is a very, very, very broad topic. When we're saying what are you grateful for, I remember one time I wrote, I'm grateful for this fork, right? So I was eating like noodles. I I wrote, I'm grateful for this fork. So it's you just being aware, more aware of your environment and how blessed you are, you know, and how much blessings are around you, right? How fortunate you are in a sense, right? So it's something that opens your mind, because sometimes it's these little things that we overlook. But then if you think about it and I'm like, what are you grateful for? Then you think deeper. Oh, I'm actually grateful for this laptop. Imagine if I didn't have a laptop, right? How was I gonna do 1, 2, 3, blah blah blah? You see all these different things. So at the beginning, when you're doing the gratitude, it's gonna be very, very easy, right? It's gonna be very, very easy. You just think of things from the top of your head. Oh, I'm grateful for my mother. I'm grateful for the school I attend. You know, all these things are gonna keep coming, but then the more you do it now, you're gonna realize that, oh, it's actually getting more tense. Those were the main things I was grateful for. Now I'm running out. I have to think deeper now. I can't always say I'm grateful for my parents for taking me to a good school. You have to think deeper. What is currently going on in your life? What do you have around you? Look around you. If this thing was to be taken away right now, would you be okay, right? So, or like, even if it's not about being okay, but then how different things were to be if you didn't have this, if you didn't have that. If you didn't have a blanket, you would be cold. So I'm grateful for having a blanket, right? So these are some of the things that are essentially just therapeutic, and they may sound so, what you call this thing, not necessarily dumb, but useless in a sense, right? When you're doing them, it's just like, what do you mean you're grateful for a blanket, right? But like I said, the more you do it, it just opens up that extra sensory perception in such a way that you're able to see your surroundings from a more aware point of view. So you are more aware of what is going on around you. So that's essentially what the very, very short video was gonna be on, my first video. So I'm just putting it here, right? And then yeah, maybe because this is a live video, most people don't watch live videos, so I might just upload the video as well. So yeah, that's basically about it. I was talking about how every single night, something that brings me at peace, or like if my day was not so good, or even if I was having a good day, but then for the most part, if you're having a bad day, take your very, very small book, right? You just get your book, you start writing down gratitude. Today was a very bad day. I experienced all those different things, but let me think, what am I grateful for? You know, yes, that person was rude to me, but okay, I'm grateful for the fact that I didn't say certain things, right? I'm grateful for my self-control. I'm grateful that I didn't slap the person. The quickest thing that can come to your mind, right? You just write all those different things, and you will see how when you're writing them, there is no anger, or there are no harsh emotions that come out. You're just at peace, and you just keep on writing whatever comes to mind. And the more you do this, the more you calm down, the more you relax right before you go to sleep. So instead of just saying, okay, let me just check TikTok before I sleep, what's the latest, you do that, right? You do that. Your top 3, you write down what you're grateful for. What did you accomplish today? 2 things. Number 3, you just start writing in general. Write about your day. What happened today? That is you journaling, right? You write down your thoughts and feelings. What is one interesting thing that you encountered? What was that one feeling throughout the day that was your highlight, right? That determined the rest of your day. So this is you writing about your entire day in general. But the more you do this now, the more, and I mean the more you do it, that's when you'll realize that, oh, this is actually something that brings me peace. It is definitely way better than me doom scrolling right before I sleep. Yes, of course, when I scroll right before I sleep, it's fun, right? It's like there's no way there's anything better than this, right? This is peace, because I am relaxing my mind. I'm relaxing my mind right before I go to sleep, right? So that's essentially what your mind will feed you, in such a way that you're like, there's nothing better than this. But then the moment you realize that this is actually you just waking up your mind right before you sleep. That's why when you wake up tired, you wake up not feeling like you are ready to tackle the day, all those different things, right? So there's a bunch of things that happen and stuff like that. Oh yeah, actually we are gonna start at 30:30. It's nice. So yeah, we're gonna be starting at 11:30. So that's in about 8 minutes, right? And then we'll see how far we can take it from there. So yeah, basically that's the main thing. That's the power of writing down your thoughts, writing down your what you're grateful for. So for example, if your day was not so good, if it was overwhelming, instead of just starting to write down, today this guy did this 1 2 3, or just start by writing down what you're grateful for. It's something that will calm you down, because sometimes writing does bring emotions. You just start, I don't know, you start feeling somehow, you remember the day. Now you just have to reflect. But then now when you start with things that you're actually grateful for, it will become, what you call this thing, it becomes different, because you start off on a positive note, and then you look for positive things in that entire negative situation. So then it balances, it calms you down, and then now you start explaining everything properly. So yeah, that's essentially what I was basically gonna say in that video. And then one more thing, because we're gonna start in 7 minutes, that's a lot. So I'm gonna do one more video that I was planning on doing, right? So these are going to be like 3 to 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes max, right? It's not gonna be longer than that. And then I'm gonna be posting them every single day, right? So no matter, so the title of the series is posting every day until I forget to. So I didn't want to say posting every day for 30 days, because now there are those days where it's like you have 3 tests in one day, your day is not going so good and stuff like that. But then if I say posting every day until I forget to, even if I don't post, I'm just gonna keep moving, because I'm gonna use the excuse I forgot to, because for the most part that's exactly what it is. I forget to because my day is busy. But then if it's something that I just put in my day, my calendar there, and I'm like, okay, 11:30, I'm gonna do a 5-minute video, post it as it is, very minimal editing, very little work on the thumbnail. I just post the video on my thoughts and ideas, whatever is on your mind, right? The second one was on where's that? Because I wrote a bunch of things on this Word document. Writing down your thoughts, that's the first one. And then the second one was on like being more specific when you are, let me just fix this thing, focusing, no, scratch that. The title was do not set goals, set what was it? Because I didn't write down the title, but then I was basically saying stop. This sounds very controversial, right? I was saying stop focusing on your goals, focus on the worst possible outcome, somewhere around those lines. I'm gonna think of the proper title and then come back with it to you guys. But let me just explain the context, right? So you see, when you're setting your goals on the things that you want to achieve, it's a very peaceful thing, it's a very satisfying thing, it's a very motivational, inspiring, and fulfilling, empowering act or situation or feeling or whatever you're doing, right? It's an amazing thing. I envision myself getting a 90% in maths. That is beautiful. All those different goals, I envision myself having, going to the gym consistently. This is the goal that I'm setting. This is the goal that I'm setting with my marks, with the people around me, all those different goals. Sharp. Now, my perspective, right? Of course, I still believe in the goal setting, but then essentially my mindset is essentially shifting more towards the failures that come with the goals, right? So for the most part, when we set our goals, if I say I'm seeing myself getting a 90% in maths, or I'm setting the goal to get a 90% in maths, we barely think about the what if I don't, right? So we set the goal, and then we set maybe, okay, this is what I want to do. Every single day I'm gonna practice, every day I'm gonna practice, the smart goal situation and stuff. But we barely talk about what if it all fails, right? What if I don't get the 90? What if I am unable to study every single day? So essentially the theory I was trying to explain was that think of the worst possible outcome in that situation, right? So for example, if you're saying for you to get a 90%, what time is it? 27. So if you're saying for you to get a 90% in maths, you need to study for 30 minutes every single day. The worst possible outcome with that one is, what if your day is so busy that you don't have 30 minutes? What if you come back from school, you're so tired and you just getting right into sleep, right? So we don't think about these 4 things. Yes, it's being negative, it's demotivating you, but it's something very, very necessary, and it actually helps you be more strategic towards your goals. That is why most of the time we set our goals, and then after a few days we forget about those goals. You see them, they are there on your wall, but there's no acting towards them. There's literally, you just look at them, you're like, ish, I was once this motivated person, right? Motivation is a 2-minute thing. It definitely goes away. And if we're talking about discipline, you know how they're always like, what do they say about motivation and discipline? Motivation is temporary, discipline is what you need, something around those lines, right? You have to understand also that discipline is something that you build. You have to do that thing consistently. But then now, what if you can't do that thing consistently? What is stopping you? So now this is what I'm saying in that video. I'm like, think about the worst possible outcomes. Think about the negatives. Be that negative person. Discourage yourself, right? So if I'm saying I'm gonna get rich, and then I'm like, okay, there's something weird just came to my mind. I'm gonna get rich, right? And then I demotivate myself, and I'm like, what if you, scratch that. That is very, very big. I was gonna say I'm gonna get rich, and then I demotivate myself. I say, what if I'm a lawyer? You see, that's a very bad thought. Let's scratch that, right? So let's stick to academics. So let's say you do what do you call this thing? You do set your goals, but then you become that same person to yourself. You know yourself, you're always tired, you're always sleeping. What if you don't do it? I don't think you're gonna get to that goal, right? And then now you have to defend that negative side of yourself. No, I am gonna do it, and this is how, right? So if I feel tired, this is what I'm going to do, right? If I feel demotivated to continue with that goal, this is what I'm going to do, right? For the most part, when we set our goals, we don't think about the negative side of things. That is why they always crash. That is why they fall down, right? So it's a very, very big topic, but then in the coming video I wanted to cover it in like 5 minutes and just complete it, right? It's just saying, focus less on your goals, focus more on I'm thinking of a word for it. I'm still gonna think of a word for it, but yeah, that's essentially what I was trying to say what I'm going to try and say in the coming video. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. I hope that was clear. I hope that was very, very clear. So yes, you can still set your goals, but think about the negative what ifs. What if this, what if this. So you need to have that side of yourself that will discourage you with those goals, right? What if your right hand is broken? What if you lose your phone and stuff like that, right? So these things just help you structure your goals more effectively, and have an answer for everything. When people are trying to attack you, but then with every negative thing that they say to you, like, I have an answer, I have an answer, I have an answer. You just give up the answers. So this will only happen when you prepare yourself for that failure, right? And you just predict that failure, or okay, this is the most likely failing that can happen, and blah blah blah, stuff like that. Okay, enough yapping. So yeah, we're gonna get into studying. Yeah, I'm tired. For the next for the next like 30 minutes or so, something like that, until 12. Until 12. Is it AM or PM? I think it's AM. It has been, this thing always confuses me since the early days of Patlama research. But yeah, until 12 we're gonna be grinding, and then I think we're just gonna stick to the 25 minutes because it's very, very late, right? And at such late times, when you're doing longer sessions, you burn out very, very quickly, and then you give up faster. So it's just a piece of advice: when you are studying at night, make sure you do very, very short sessions. Make sure you set goals of what exactly you want to achieve, right? So have your checklist that you're gonna work on. I don't have that yet. I'm gonna write it down now, or like once I'm done explaining, right? But yeah, essentially just have a smaller checklist somewhere, and then as you go down that checklist, you tick them out. You know that, okay, in this session this is what I covered. And you can also refine your checklist, right? So if maybe in a particular session you covered something else that you didn't plan to, you write it down there. You write there, okay, this is what I covered, and then you tick it, right? And at the end you just reflect on essentially everything that you were able to learn. So this is essentially me saying, as we're going through the studying, you're gonna have your initial checklist, right, that you're gonna look at, or okay, I need to complete this assignment, study this section of physics, study this, right? And then at the bottom it's gonna be blank, and this is where you're gonna check your progress after each 25-minute session. And this is something that is going to keep you going, because when you see that you're actually making progress, that burnout is going away little by little, because yes, this thing is difficult, but I'm actually making some progress. If, for example, it's very, very bad and you don't understand it, now this is me coming back to what I was just talking about. I'm thinking about the negative outcomes. You see how I'm making this a very, very heavenly, nice situation, write down your things, but then now what if you get a question, you don't understand that question at all? This is me saying, when you encounter such a situation, you write it down. You write it down as a checklist. On that very same live checklist, I got stuck on this particular question, blah, blah, blah. This was the topic. This is what I was talking about. And then you write that down. You continue trying to fight with it. If you can't now, you just put it as an asterisk, or you just put something there at the top that it's incomplete. You move on. You do something else to move your mind away from all that thinking. Don't spend too much time on one problem. Don't spend too much time trying to understand one question. If you see yourself spending more than 20 minutes trying to understand the same question, you're not gonna get anywhere. Your mind needs to rest, right? So if you see yourself getting stuck on a question, step away for a few minutes, move on to something else. Once you're done with that easier something else, you come back now. You start going through your YouTube, you look for videos that can supplement, that can help you understand that question, right? So don't make yourself fall into that stress of not understanding a question. If you don't understand it, yes, look at it for a few minutes, try to understand it, try to dissect it, try to visualize it in your understanding. But then once you see yourself not understanding that question, you see that I'm not getting anywhere, you pause. Don't continue, because now you're wasting time with things that you actually don't understand. You're just forcing things, and that is also another factor of burnout. So I'm essentially just trying to say, if you see yourself not understanding what you're studying, step back, do something else, and then you will come back to it after that particular thing that you're working on, right? And then you just do this. If you come back to it and you still don't understand, you leave again. You come back to it, you watch 2 or 3 videos. Oh, okay, now I got this part. You maybe try and continue. Okay, I still don't understand. You leave it, you come back, right? Because just because you're spending 2 hours on a question doesn't mean you're gonna get it faster, right? Or doesn't mean you're actually grinding on something. Just because you're stuck on a question and then you watch 5 videos to the organic chemistry tutor doesn't mean you're actually gonna understand that question, right? So once you come across a question that you have absolutely no idea what is going on, don't force it. Step back, do something else, come back, step back, come back. That is essentially the process to you actually absorbing that information bit by bit. So yeah, and that is it from me. Good night. So yeah, so let's just get grinding. I've been talking for a very long time. So yeah, we're gonna log in now for the next 25 minutes, and then yeah, keep it going until at around 12 a.m. Okay, so it's time for a very quick and fast break for the next 5 minutes. Very, very quick. Yeah, so like I said, the 5 minutes, I mean the 25-minute sessions, as you might have seen, are definitely better because you don't even feel it, right? It's something that just happens very, very quickly, and then before you know it, 25 minutes is up, and then another 25 minutes, and so on and so forth. Before you know it, it's 3 a.m. already. Okay, maybe not, but yeah, you get my point. So yeah, we're gonna just take a very, very quick break for the next 5 minutes and then continue from there. And I just want to show what I was talking about, right? So this is essentially where I was at. This is essentially what I was trying to explain. Obviously my thingy is the other way around, right? But I was essentially just trying to explain that this top part here, as you can see, is the things that I want to accomplish by the end of the night. So it's actually missing, right? So I removed some of them because the only thing that's supposed to be here is like studying, right? It's studying for the test, right? So I'm gonna put that here after, once I'm done with these three, right? So these are the things I have to do. I'm not gonna write a very, very long checklist of the things that I have to complete. I just write these three first, complete them. So right now in this next upcoming session, I'm gonna wrap up the first one, and then down here in red, essentially what I was trying to write is what you call this thing? It's a live checklist, right? So after this 25-minute session, what have I done? And here what I wrote was, I understood DPB, which is what I'm doing. I understood DPB and how to do the tutorial. So I basically got the background on the homework that we were given, there's mini assignment. And then now in this section, next session, I'm essentially just gonna complete that thing. It's just a calculation. I just needed to understand where what was coming where and all that, right? So that's essentially, this is basically the life checklist of what happened in the previous 25-minute session. And then now in the next session, I know that I'm gonna complete this and then come back, write down what I did, move on, and so on and so forth, right? So you're able to see your progress, right? Rather than writing your checklist has practice maths and that's all you have on your checklist. It's a very, very broad thing, and then by the end of the session you just demotivated because you sat down to study maths, to practice your maths questions. You are practicing the maths questions, but then one, you don't know when to stop. You come across questions that you don't know how to solve at all. You don't know how to maneuver around that. So there's all these negative things that affect your study journey, and it's essentially me just saying, you having a live checklist of what is currently going on. It's a bit like journaling. It's essentially study journaling. You are trying to explain where you are currently, right? So in red, I'm essentially just saying, this is what I tried to accomplish. This is where I am so far after this 25-minute session. In this next 25-minute session, once it's complete, there's going to be something here. It's me explaining what have I done in this 25-minute session. And then I go back to this main one that I set in the first place. Then I'm going to tick off the first thing. I move on to the next thing. Okay, I try and work on it in 25 minutes. Maybe I couldn't finish the point. I write down here, what if even if I didn't complete what the task, but what have I covered so far? What is my progress, right, towards accomplishing that task? So yeah, that's pretty much about it, and what I was just trying to explain with that. Let me just see if there's anything in the chat box, and then if there's nothing, then we can just head right into it, because our 5 minutes is up. Just give me a second to check what is going on. It's very, it's very, very late. Okay, next break your next session, which is gonna end at around half past 12, right? So in the next 25 minutes basically. So yeah, adios. Okay, so yeah, so we're done with the second session of the night, right? And from my side, I'm not yet done. I was supposed to have been done. I'm almost done. Like, this is one more session. So I had estimated this current thing that I'm doing to just spend over 2 sessions, right? But then it looks as it's gonna be like 1 hour 30 minutes. So this is gonna be the last session that I'm doing of this thing, this first task, right? So it's something that needed me to like create a table and then fill in the numbers and all that. But yeah, I'm done with that, and the calculations as well, I'm done. So in this last session, I'm gonna be wrapping it up. So what I did here, essentially what I'm just gonna write down here is that I completed the tables and completed the calculations. Right now in this last session, I just need to write the you know, the fact that I what do you call this thing, I just need to write the fact that I am done with all those things. I just need to write down the reasons and the justifications and all that. But other than that, I'm done with the task, right? And just like that, within 3 sessions and essentially me journaling every single thing that I do, you know, I was able to successfully complete it. And I'm still feeling energetic, you know, compared to someone who would have just jumped right into the studying and, you know, grind. Of course you're gonna feel motivated just like me at the beginning, but then the maintaining is the difficult part, right? Keeping that and those energy levels up is one thing that is difficult. So yeah, that's essentially what we're trying to fix with these 25-minute sessions. So it's currently half past 12. I'm even losing my speech. It's currently 12:30. We said the target is 3 a.m, right? So which means we have like a little bit over two hours left to complete, right? And in that 2 hours, I'm essentially just, from my side, you also have to set your own goals, right, as to what you want to do. So with me, in the remaining 2 hours, I'm gonna complete this first task right now in the next session, which is in 2 minutes. And then I'm gonna get into the second one, which I'm also going to complete. And then there is the assignment, right, which the computer science assignment, which I'm just gonna touch roughly. So I'm just gonna do like, get the background of it, right? Essentially just read on it, and then tomorrow morning, like I said, we're gonna be live tomorrow morning. When we come back, I just start working on it. But then now I'm gonna do the background, and Leo, now I'm gonna do the same thing in journalist. So by 3 a.m, this red part here will be full. So you see these 2 red lines, and they'll essentially be getting somewhere here. I'll be writing the things that I'm doing, what I've accomplished, blah blah blah, and so on and so forth, and you just keep it going. So it's something to see your progress, because sometimes you do study, you find that you're busy studying for like 3 hours, but then at the end of that 3 hours you feel like you haven't done much because you don't understand most of the things. But then you don't celebrate those small wins whereby you understood a little bit of something. So you should just stay positive but negative, in terms of the fact that failure is inevitable, but in terms of you accomplishing the task, you should be able to track and see that, oh, I'm actually doing something, right? And that's essentially the main goal and the best advice on how to stay motivated. So yeah, let's get back to studying, and then we'll be back at our next break, which is 1 a.m. Okay, so we are back for our longer break. It's gonna be about 15 to 20 minutes, right? Just a quick longer break. Quick longer. Yeah, it's just a longer break than the other 5-minute ones. I'm just gonna check if there are any questions. I think I saw 1 or 2 questions during the other sessions. So we're just gonna go through them and then yeah. So for the next 15 minutes we'll be here, I think. I don't know why I can't see the Jesus question on my screen, which is very interesting, but that's fine. What am I studying? So I was doing like I'm done with it, like I said, right? I'm done with it. So now I'm gonna be doing an assignment course, it's system analysis. So I'm gonna be doing that now. And then TME, how do you get to a next subject if you're not physics for my second study? I'm not okay. Yeah, TME. I see you joined in a bit like the scheduling. I'm not sure if TME is here right now, but I'm just gonna the plan. It's okay, perfect. And on how do you move on to the next subject, right? So essentially, how we're doing it is that you first start by your list. I see it because it's things, 3 to 4 things. This is my checklist, right? So already you can see I've completed 2 of these things. They're in grade. If you have any assignments, you write them down. The things that you want to accomplish tonight, right? This is not studying. Don't you write those things down, those detailed topics. If you want to understand something in math, you write it down. If you want to practice 5 questions in math, you write it down. Be as detailed as possible. That's the first step, right? So now if you're like I'm glitching, yeah, you see this thing of glitching. Just let me know if I'm still glitching, because now I'm not sure. I've been cooking here. Can you hear me now? Just send a thumbs up if I'm audible. TV, but it's fine. I'm assuming okay. There's like more than 7 people in the continue explaining because someone said I'm glitching, so I'm not sure if that's still going on. So if you can see me or hear me or what, just a thumbs up, guys. You don't want with your thumbs, just one thumbs up. because I can hear myself. I mean, obviously, yeah, they're live from my side. So now if it comes up, at least send that heart thing, like your bottom right has like a heart. Just send that heart if you, because it doesn't show who it's from, right? So just send that heart if you can hear me at least. Agree you don't want with your thumbs. Okay, people are angry. You're still glitching. It's like a radio station on frequency. Hey man. Um mm, okay, let's how is it now? Just let me know how it is now. It should be better, at least. I think it should be better. Just let me know how it you see now? And I was cooking, and now this live is starting with their things. It's YouTube, it's not me. It's not me, it's you. Just one more person. Okay, now I'm better. Because I see also on my phone it does some weird thingy to show that my connection is weak. I just hope you're gonna be able to hear me. Let me just come closer. Okay, yeah, it should be better now. So what I was saying, what I was trying to explain, actually having a proper plan and having an effective study, not study, I don't know man, like studying properly, a study session, that's the word I was looking for. Ensuring you have an effective study session. You started off like this, right? You started off by writing that you want to do, right? You must be specific. If you want to practice 5 questions, write 5 questions. Don't just write I want to practice maths. Write down I want to practice 5 questions in maths in my calculus. All the things you want to do tonight. Once you are done with these things, you start with the first one. You get into the first thing that's on your to-do list. You start working on it, right? Obviously, like I said, we're doing 25-minute sessions. So after the first 25-minute session, you're first. Okay, Ofentse. But yeah, after the first 25-minute session, what you're going is my live checklist, right? What is currently going on. So after each the previous session was, right? What did you learn? What were you doing? This is okay. I see it. I see what you're talking about. Just okay. Okay, so I'm trying to fix it right now, and I'm just trying to see. Like the universe. Yeah, the universe doesn't want us to study, but I'm just trying to fix it right now. I'm assuming it's the, what you call this thing. My CPU is very weak because I had opened a lot of things at once, so it might have been that. Just give me a few seconds. Just bear with me. Bear with me. Okay, I think I'm hopeful that it's better now. I have a lot of hope. I have high hopes rather. So yeah, I just like lowered down my, like, the number of things that were running, because yeah, I had a bunch of apps open at the same time because I was working on this hectic assignment. So I'm assuming it's that, but it should be fine now. Just confirm with me if you can hear me properly. Okay, perfect. I just want to do this. Yeah, just give me 2 more seconds to just make sure that everything is proper. And then, okay, yeah, okay, we're fine now. Let's continue. I've been quiet for a very long time. I don't like it. Yeah, we can continue. So I was just, now I have to re-explain, but you got my first part right. So the first part, I was basically just explaining that you have 2 parts. You need to have your first part of your very detailed checklist. The second part is your live checklist. So this is you commenting on, after every single 25-minute session, talk about what you were doing. So if I can just give an example, my first thing on my checklist was an FTX assignment. That's just the name of the course, or the module, the subject. It's an FTX. It was an assignment. I was working on it. It took me 1 hour 30 minutes, which means that it was 3 sessions. So in the first session, I wrote that in my live checklist, I wrote that I understood DPB and how to do the assignment. So I was basically looking for some background on how to complete it. In the second one, I completed the tables and I confirmed the calculations with the memo, blah blah blah, and all that, right? So this is me just saying to you, you shouldn't say when do you stop, right? You should tell yourself when to stop. Your checklist, right, your to-do list from the beginning should tell you when to stop. So it shouldn't be something that you decide after 2 hours. You're like, I've been studying maths for too long now, I think it's time to stop. That's not it. Yeah, it's giving unorganized and stuff. So from the beginning, your things should be planned. If you're planning on practicing maths for it shouldn't, don't use time as an indicator of how much how long you spend on a particular thing. It should be a matter of content or how much effort you put in. So for example, I am going to practice 5 questions in maths. I am going to try and understand the theory of this thing. I'm going to work on my homework. I'm going to work on blah blah blah. So all of these different things, you see that they are done once you complete them. But then if you say I'm going to practice maths instead of I'm going to practice 5 questions in maths, you can see that this one doesn't have an ending. It just depends on how you're feeling. If you feel like ending the session, then you just end it. But you should be more specific when you're setting your goals from the beginning. It shouldn't be a passive thing, or not passive, man, active thing, something that you're doing in the moment and passive. It shouldn't be something that you're doing in the moment and you're just deciding, or okay, no, I've done enough maths, so now it's time to switch, right? Your checklist should tell you that. If it says you're done, then that's when you're done. But then if your checklist says practice maths, it doesn't have an ending, so that means you're gonna practice maths the entire night, because where do you end there? Where do you end? So I'm essentially just saying every single thing that you have on the list, on your to-do list, should have an ending. So my first thing was an FTX assignment. I'm done with that. The second thing was go through the course outline. So there's a new course that I'm gonna be starting on Tuesday, right? So I'm only starting it on Tuesday, so it means that we haven't done anything so far. What I wrote here, I was like, I need to go through the course outline. So the course outline basically gives you the background, what you're going to be learning in that course. I could have just written Infos 2006. That's the name of the course. I could have just written Infos 2006. Remember, the content for the first day has already dropped. So if I just write something general, it means it gives me so much creative freedom, such that, for example, I could have went through the content for the first day and started studying it, and then I start studying. How, you see, it's something so broad, but then here I limited myself. I'm like, I'm only going to look at the course outline, and then I close it there. Tomorrow morning, maybe sometime tomorrow, I can start preparing for the first class, right? So that's that. And then the other thing here is another system analysis exercise. So it's like homework, right? You can't stop until you're done, right? It's the same as what I was just doing now. It's an assignment, so I did time myself, and it was a very short one. I did time myself where I'm gonna do it until I'm done. Same thing, once I'm done with these 3 tasks, I have a computer science assignment. That one is big, right? So I can't just write computer science assignment, because it's not something you can complete in an hour or 2, right? So by the end of tonight, with that assignment, I would have gone through the background. It's something that I wrote here. Go through the background of the computer science assignment. So it's all, I just don't want to get too deep into my things, right? I'm just saying it's all about the planning that you do from the beginning. If your planning or your to-do list is planned very, very badly, or it's so vague, it doesn't explain what exactly is going on, then you're just gonna, it's not, your session overall is not gonna be as effective as it should be, because you don't know when to stop, you don't know when it's time for your break. It's like people who study without knowing, my English, people who take breaks when they are tired, right? So they just keep going, they practice that maths, they practice. When they feel like they come across a difficult question, they're like, it's time for a break. That's not very effective, because you are controlled by the content, right? Instead of essentially controlling the content yourself and saying, I'm only gonna limit myself to these things and then take a break. You see, so that's essentially what we're trying to do. So with you, just to answer your question, we're supposed to be going back to studying now. It's 20 past. Oh no, we're going back at 25 past. Yeah, in 5 minutes. So in your situation, you're saying, let me just go back to your comment. You were saying if you're not done, then you have to switch to physics. So you see how broad or how vague that entire thing is. If you're not done with maths, what about math? What are you not done with? And then physics, what do you want to start? So get deeper into it. What exactly were you working on in maths, and to what extent do you want to complete? Same thing with your physics. Where do you want to, how much content do you want to cover? If you're working on homework, do you want to just do the homework and then close it there? Things like that, right? And then another important thing that's very, very important, and it is of high importance, it's the life checklist. So the life checklist is something that is going to hold you accountable and keep you motivated for you to see your progress. As much as you have this thing, it takes a very long time for you to be able to tick one thing. Like for me, it took me 1 hour 30 minutes to be able to tick the first thing off my list. 1 hour 30 minutes. So for the entire 1 hour 30 minutes, I was looking at a blank to-do list, which means that it's so overwhelming, because I'm like, yo, I've been going for 1 hour 30 minutes, I haven't even completed any one of these things, right? But then when you have this down here, you start writing down after every single study session. So that means that by the end of this entire study session that we're doing, this should be going down, should be going round until about here, until the end of the paper. I should be commenting on each and every session that we're doing. How was it? What did I cover? What am I planning on covering in the next session? And so on and so forth. And that's essentially how you keep a session productive, like just so that you don't lose that willpower and you don't burn out very quickly. When you see your progress, you are better motivated to say, oh, okay, I'm actually getting somewhere, let me keep going. So yeah, it does have that internal drive to it that just motivates you to keep going. I was cooking there. So yeah, we're gonna go back now in 3 minutes, which is 25 minutes past, right? So we're going to go back, and then that would mean that we come back only at 2 a.m, right? So yeah, 2 a.m, let's make it 2 a.m, because that's approximately 30 to 35 minutes. But because we wasted extra time here, we're gonna spend 35 minutes on the next session. Yeah, you've answered me. I've been doing this method so people like have a study timetable for each subject, and I get, it does demotivate you because it's so general. Yes, okay, actually you can have a study timetable, right? So you can have a study timetable that says today I'm going to do maths for an hour, but then it says I'm going to do maths for an hour, and then after that I do physics. That's what people have. I think that's what you're talking about, right? Once you're done with this maths, now you have to move to the physics. But then when do you stop, or how do you stop? You can have this as a guideline, but then once you sit down, this doesn't work anymore. You don't say maths anymore, you don't say physics anymore. You sit down and you dissect it. What do you want to work on? What exactly do you want to do? This overall timetable is good for helping you understand your overall structure and the day, right? Just knowing what I'm going to go through the entire day. But now when you sit down, you don't no longer, it's not mathematics anymore. You have to dissect it and actually give a detailed explanation of what exactly you're going to do, right? So, and then another thing, check your progress. Write down your progress after every 25-minute session. Write down how far you have come, what you still want to accomplish, what you have understood so far, what you are proud of, right? You write down those things, and those are the things that essentially just prevent that lack of motivation. So yeah, I hope that helps. And yeah, it's 25 minutes past, so we're just gonna go back now, and we'll be back at 2. So that the time is currently 1 1:25, right? So we're gonna go back, we're gonna be back at 2 a.m. And yeah, cheers and all the best. Okay. Welcome back. Yeah, so we're almost there. Very, very much almost there. I think the goal was like 4 hours from the beginning, right? We said 3 a.m. So there's like 35 minutes left. So that's basically one session to go. And I don't know if you're someone who has been here, from the beginning, right? You will notice that it's not something that drains you, right? You're able to recover, and when you're doing these 25-minute sessions, it just feels a bit lighter than when you would typically do your 1 hour practicing, your 2 hours. You're able to recharge, unless if you are sleepy. That's the only excuse. I don't know why I'm not sleepy, because I didn't sleep in the afternoon. The only time I have this much energy is if I sleep in the afternoon. So I'm actually concerned why I'm so energetic. And I literally just completed. So I completed, like I said, if you're with me from the beginning, so I had these these first three thingies here on my to-do list. So I just completed them. You see they're in red. And then, like I said, right now I'm just gonna go into this thing that's here. It's the computer science, the background of that assignment. I need to start working on the assignment, but I'm not gonna do the assignment. I'm just gonna read about it and get some background basics, and then that's me closing the session. And then right here, like I said, this was me just commenting. So because this thing that I was working on, it took me an hour, but it was just one thing. So at the end I just commented once. I was like, I successfully completed this assignment, right? And then I was done with it. So now I just have one more thing to do, which is the computer science assignment. And then right after that, I think someone asked me something about computer science. I just don't remember the comment, but yeah, it's that. And then I'm writing it on Wednesday. So because I'm gonna be writing the computer science, like tomorrow will be for most of the day, it will be that. And then I also mentioned that I'm starting a new course, another new course on tomorrow. Tomorrow is already Tuesday. Tomorrow I'm gonna be starting a new course, right? So I'm gonna be studying something else. Like, it's literally only starting tomorrow. So throughout the day today, I'm gonna be live, like, for the most part. If I'm not here, you should ask yourself where I am, because if I'm studying, I should be here. So I'm gonna be live almost the entire day today, because it's already Monday, né? Yeah, it's 2 a.m. where I am. So it's 2 a.m. where I am. Yeah, so it's already 2 a.m. I'm just saying that throughout the day today, I'll be here just live, trying to complete the assignment, and then at the same time just studying the content that will be tested on Wednesday. So yeah, that's pretty much about me from my side. If you have any questions, I think this is the perfect time to pose them, because literally after this session I'm ending the live. So it's like this session, and then it's like this break that ends at 35, and then like a 25-minute session which ends at exactly 3 a.m. and then I'm just gonna turn off the live from there, right? So yeah, if you have anything burning, I think you can just type it down right now there quickly, and then we can talk about it, or I don't know, whatever. It depends on what it is. And then yeah, that's pretty much about it. I'm actually impressed. I'm actually proud of myself for getting to this point, because I remember I started going live at around half past 11, if not 11 p.m. But one of those, right? I started going live there, and then I was like, I want to study until around 3 a.m. and I was a bit skeptical. If you had to just go back to the beginning of the live and just listen to the first 1 minute, you will see my face and hear what I was saying. So you get where the excitement is coming from, because I thought I was gonna get sleepy at some point, but then I underestimated the power of the 25-minute session. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. Okay, so I see that there are no questions in the chat box, right? So that means that as soon as 3 a.m. hits, I just press on my end live here on my laptop, and then it just automatically ends the live, and then we close it there. So yeah, thank you to everyone who was able to join. I think there's one person in this live who literally joined from the beginning. I'm not sure who it is, but yeah, thank you so much, and I'm proud of you as well. There's also like 2 more people again in the live. Proud of you. It's very late and you're sticking out. So even tomorrow should be the same. Throughout the year it should be the same, right? Don't stop now. And yeah, so yeah, this is me saying goodbye, because after this session we're just gonna call it off and then go to sleep and wake up and continue living. That's the journey of my life. So we still have 3 minutes. Let me just see what I can talk about. I'm tired of talking. I'm tired of actually yapping. Nah, I just realized that I'm tired of talking. Word, Microsoft Word. So I have I explained at the beginning, I have like a list of topics here that I'm going to be talking about in the next couple of days. Ooh, this is a nice one. So at the beginning of the video I talked about two videos, right? The first one was on journaling, the power of journaling, gratitude journaling, as well as what's the other type, the wins, right? Celebrating your wins. So accomplishment journaling. So what have you achieved today? The smallest thing, right? It doesn't have to be anything big, but what is one accomplishment from today? For example, I completed this assignment. That's an achievement. For example, I helped someone pick up their books. I don't know, that's the thing that came to the top of my mind. But anything that you've accomplished today, right? Any good thing that you've accomplished today and you feel that it deserves to be noticed, right? As much as you overlook those things most of the time, but then it's me just saying acknowledge them. So it's those things, and then it's your gratitude. Look around you. What are you grateful for? Look around, look at your surroundings, look at the people around you, look at your your daily routine. What are you grateful for? So you do this every single night, right before you sleep. Instead of doom scrolling, these are the 2 things that you're going to do. You write down what you're grateful for, you write down what you have accomplished today, right? So at first they're gonna seem very, very weird. Why am I doing this? But then over time you realize that it's something that actually opens up your, I don't know what it opens up, but something opens up. And yeah, it's beautiful. And then the second thing I talked about very, very quickly was on I forgot I forgot what the second thing was, but essentially what I wanted to talk about now, right before we close it, was the things that happen right before you study, right? So it's me just saying, before you sit down to study, you should have some sort of a routine or a ritual, like something that you do right before you study, right? So this is obviously, you get where I'm going, right? It's me just saying that you don't just get off your phone, you put your phone down and you're like, okay, let me start studying. There's a very big gap there, in terms of your attention span, and actually you shifting your focus from the fact that you were just scrolling 5 seconds ago and then now you want to jump this huge gap and go into studying, right? So there should be a mediator or an intermediate phase between you doing those things that are not related to studying and you actually getting into the zone, right? There should be this intermediate phase here. So it's something that you should develop. But yeah, right now we're just gonna go back into the studying because it's time up, but then I'll talk about that some other time. So yeah, ciao, thank you so much once again. Let's just hit one more session and then we close it from there, and then you can go to sleep. Just plan it properly now while we're about to start. What are you going to do in this last session? What are you looking at? And then that is gonna be it. That is your cut-off time. It's 3 a.m. and then we go to sleep. So yeah, let's go. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much about it. So yeah, I don't even know what to say. I'm tired now, yeah. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Hey, people are coming back. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us, Fanda. I don't know if there are any last words from anyone somewhere around South Africa or around the world. If there are any last words before we close up. But yeah, I just want to sleep at this point. So we accomplished our goal of 3 a.m. If you go to the beginning of the video, if we're not here, we did say we're going to, or we want to study until 3 a.m. and the time is currently 3 a.m. Yeah, well, so yeah, goal accomplished. And yeah, thank you so much everyone for joining in, and I'll see you guys in a few hours actually, because I'm gonna be live like the entire day studying for Wednesday. So yeah, I'll be here pretty much almost all the time. I'm not sharing anything. I think the things I wanted to say, they'll come another day, but for today, that's pretty much about it. I have a lot of things today to say, but I no, sometime next time, yeah, next time is the word. But yeah, good night, have a good night. Keep on studying, keep praying. God bless you, and have a good night.